Governor Mills has requested a major disaster declaration from President Biden following the December storm that caused flooding and power outages across Maine.
Mills made the request for 10 counties, including Franklin, Kennebec, Hancock, Penobscot, Piscataquis, Somerset, and Waldo. The damage to public infrastructure is estimated to be $20 million. An approved request would mean Maine would gain access to funds to repair roads, bridges, public buildings, utilities, and other public infrastructure.
Due to a high level of damage in Androscoggin, Franklin, Kennebec, Oxford, and Somerset counties, the governor also requested individual assistance to eligible families.
In those 5 counties, the Federal Emergency Management Agency found 13 properties were destroyed and 106 had major damage. In addition, only 6% of properties in those counties are estimated to have flood insurance. This request does not cover last week's storms. Once MEMA has finished evaluating the damage from those storms, another request will be made to FEMA for support.